This is Biker Dad, brought to you by Garza Law, your motorcycle attorney, the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers, and Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky.
If you have pictures of me, yeah, well, that's been 20 years. You say
Sir? Hey, Adam Sandoval here, touring across America, and you are watching Biker Dad TV.
Hi, my name is Chris Best, and I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell stories. This guy's story is pretty similar, too. In case you don't know, this is Adam Sandoval. If you're watching this show, you probably already do. But what you might not know is that he's on a brand new mission that's helping our wounded warriors, and it's a mission that's taking them all over the country. That's where we're going to start this episode of the Biker Dad TV show. So let's roll. Have you ever sat at your job and thought, what if I just got up and left? Tell that horrible boss to take this job and shove it. Have you ever wanted to just walk out? What about burnout? Well, that's exactly what I did, but I didn't just quit. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell your story. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you can actually drive onto the beach. Rick Fairless, a legend of his own, introduced me to Richard Rollins, Mayfield, Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, beautiful city of Knoxville, Tennessee, Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Florida coast in the Tampa Bay area, Orange County Choppers, Roadhouse and Museum, talking to Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. But make no mistake, this is not a show about motorcycles or even about me. Instead, I travel across the country to meet the people who use their passion for motorcycles to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. This is Biker Dad.
Hi, my name is Heather Shaw. Well, I'm here because my husband is a huge fan of Sandoval here, and he is currently deployed in Kuwait. So as a good wife, I thought I would come out here on my lunch break and see if I can meet him. So he's about 8.5, 9 hours ahead right now with the Kuwait time, and we were actually able to FaceTime him and let him talk to Sandoval, and just, you know, probably made his day. And I think a lot of guys are gonna be really jealous back home there, so yeah.
Hi, we're on the road here in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I'm with Adam Sandoval, Scootin' America, Great American Convoy. If you're watching the show, you ride, you probably know who you are, but just in case, will you please give everybody just a quick cliff notes about what Adam Sandoval is all about?
Adam Sandoval is about America, our veterans, riding motorcycles, and good times.
So when I started Biker Dad about 10 years ago, one of the first videos I ever did, you may not remember this because we did it by Zoom, is you were riding across the country with scooters, just started doing all this, and you know, we did a quick interview, and that kind of made you like maybe the first big motorcycle influencer. So tell us a little bit about how that happened. What happened there?
Over, that's a good question. So, you know, I didn't plan. There was no motorcycle influencers, right? It wasn't a plan. I had something in my heart that I needed to service. It was 100% selfish. I wanted to help our military because I had some regret for not serving myself. And I figured I could use my skills and my ability to find a way to give back. And I knew that the motorcycle community as a whole is a very patriotic community and a very philanthropic community. And I thought, I'm going to try to put together a campaign where we can raise some money and raise some awareness to help our veterans. And I knew social media was a great platform to do that on. But people ask me all the time, how do you become a full-time YouTuber? And the answer is, I have no idea, because I didn't plan it. It just happened.
And so what you did is you left your job, right? And you got your little dog, you got on a motorcycle and went to every home in America. Is that what you did?
Yes, 702 dealerships. It's everyone in the continental 48. It took me about 20 months, and it was about 88,000 miles. I rode 14 times coast to coast and 9 times north to south to complete it. And we had an accident and all kinds of struggles with weather and all kinds of things happened along the journey, but we completed it. We stayed stubborn, we stayed focused, we made it happen. And, you know, I've just been continuing to try. I found a real calling in that journey, right? not only to help our veterans, but I also found a calling in the motorcycle community. So I've just always tried to find ways, with whatever success this world has given me, to try to find ways to give back and keep that momentum moving forward for our country.
Talk about being stubborn and you got in an accident, and all some of stuff. We're sleeping in people's backyard and things like that. Right?
Yeah. When I first started, I was, I ran out of money quick. I sold my home and all my stuff to fund this thing because I had no sponsorships or any way to fund it. So I basically sold all my furniture, my art collection, my home, everything I had, and used it to raise money for these veterans to travel with. That money ran out, and when it did, I was, even before, because I knew it was going to run out, I was sleeping behind gas stations, in farmers' fields, got kicked out of a couple, just anywhere I could crash. But I also have to give credit to America because citizens and riders and veterans took me in constantly and put me in their homes or in their garages or in their backyards or, got me hotels, and I had a lot of support as well, but many nights underneath the stars for sure. It was a blessing, man. I knew that I was going to get to do what I love, and I could use it to try to make a difference. And those two things together, it was an absolute blessing. It happened not fast. Over a year of living on the road, struggling. But when it happened, it just clicked, and it became a blessing. And I really like to look at it as it's really what our veterans fight for every day, for a free country where you're able to chase your dreams, you're able to put in the energy, and as long as you stay focused, you stay stubborn, and you chase your dreams, there is the ability in this country to live that dream, and I feel like I'm a testament to that today. I think that social media is a good and a bad thing, and it all just depends on whatever energy you're going to put into it. Nothing comes easy in this life. If you want it, you got to work for it. You got to put in the hours. Right now on this ride, I'm spending about 84 hours a week right now running a campaign trying to raise money and awareness for our veterans. Whether I'm riding the bike, doing meet and greets at dealerships, trying to raise funds, editing footage in the hotel, nothing's easy. You're gonna grind. I'll get home at the end of the night and I still have to put in hours of work after doing this all day, right? So I just think, and that's not to say I'm just saying if you want it, you got to work for it. And the social media is the same way. So I lived on the road off my motorcycle, traveling the country for about 5 years in total. And I met a beautiful woman down in Texas, and we dated for like 3 years where I traveled every day. And she wanted me to come off the road and come off tour, if you will. So I told her the only way I would do it is if I could find a campground where I could host other people the same way the nation hosted me everywhere I went. And she helped me find one. I found one, I bought it. And the first thing I did is I took one of the most beautiful little sections of land, tucked in some trees overlooking the river, and I said, this is for our veterans. And so we've got cabins, RV spots, tent spots that are 100% free for veterans, 7 days a week.
I followed a great American from Daphne, Alabama to Mississippi Gulf Coast Harley Davidson just to meet him. It was important because Adam is doing this project for the Wounded Warriors, the Great American Convoy. I lost my son in Iraq in 2007. The Wounded Warriors are an important part of my family now. We've donated a car. Well, of course, I donated my son, but and a lot of money, and I know it's a good cause. It helps Wounded Warriors find their way back to civilization and their happiness.
So this mission is to visit 120 Harley Davidson dealerships, inviting riders to join and exit with me along, kind of like Forrest Gump, if you will. And at each stop, we're trying to raise money for the Wounded Warrior projects for our veterans who are really back at home and still fighting battles, whether it be limitations physically or struggles mentally. There's a lot of demons out there that these guys are dealing with, and I will never have the capacity to fully understand what they're dealing with, but I hear a lot of really heavy stories on a really regular basis, and I know there's a big need for our community support. So I am just trying to spread the word, right? I'm a thankful civilian. I never served myself, but I think if we could get more civilians to come and serve those who served, this country would be an even better place than what it is today. Just awesome what you're doing. I'm a fan of yours. I watch your stuff. I think what you do is great out there. I think you've got a good, positive message, and people have all different ideas about social media and they're like, oh, well, you know, now there's all these motorcycle people on the internet, and does that compete with you? And my answer is no. It lifts us. Rising seas raise all ships. What you're doing is wonderful. I support you, man. And thank you for taking the time to ask me some very insightful questions.
I appreciate you taking time again. It's our third interview, but the first one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Rock and roll. The Biker Dad.
All right, we're again here in Biloxi, Mississippi with Adam Sandoval. Keep up with the great American Convoy by going to adamsandoval.com and see when he's going to be in your area and ride along with him. And hey, I'm going to ride with him in Milwaukee for the 120th anniversary. So if you're up there, give us both up as well.
Absolutely.
That's it for this week's episode of the Biker Dad TV show.
I'm Bruce Shelnut. I'm the rider director here at Post 178, and I'm also second vice commander. We were supposed to have an Agent Orange ride today following this cookout, and according to the weather earlier, like on Thursday, we made the final decision that to cancel it. We're going to have it now in November.
Agent Orange is a very deadly disease. It's dioxide chemicals that was used during the Vietnam War. We were told it would not harm us. And come to find out later in life that this chemical that they spray to kill the jungles and everything there was very, very harmful to us.
Agent Orange is the pesticide that the military used in Vietnam to kill overgrowth, and wound up being very harmful to the individual. A lot of people have suffered.
Originally, I'm from North Carolina. I've been living here for about 40 years, so I got involved with the Legion 3 or 4 years ago. I was 18 years old. I was with the 53rd Combat Engineer Demolition, which later known as a tunnel rat. So I was down in a lot of holes. Had no idea about this chemical. I had none, so whatever. I went so many years not going to the doctors, not just playing off. But it finally hit me. I ended up with ischemic heart disease, which they did 5 bypasses. A year or two later, I ended up with lung disease, which they ended up moving part of my lungs. I just ended up with all kinds of cancer from the dioxide chemicals.
Well, we were counting on a lot of bikers being here. If we'd had the Agent Orange ride, we figured we'd have 100, 200 bikes. That's to support the Agent Orange medallions, and all the proceeds from the ride would go to Agent Orange. $20 a bike. One of the guys that's in charge of it is, he was here a minute ago. He just had brain surgery. He had a tumor on the brain, so.
Well, it affected my speech, memory, and concentration, yeah. Very angry, so, yeah. You can't help from being angry. Betray. Government betrayed us. So, you know, there's a lot of mixed feelings there with that. Sure, they're compensating us because we're 100% total disabled veterans now. But then again, I'm 75 years old, so I spent 10 years in the military. And within the 10 years I was in the military, we never talk about Agent Orange. Never heard nothing about it.
Hey, you can ride motorcycles and get paid just like me, Biker Dad, believe it or not. My friends, Garza Law Firm, your motorcycle attorneys, are looking for brand ambassadors in Tennessee and Kentucky. So just as the riding season is ramped up, if you want to hit the roads to bring awareness, make our roads more safe, and fight for justice for bikers, hit me up and I'll let you know how to get involved with Garza Law's Brand Ambassador Program.
I was riding a motorcycle. Out of nowhere came a car at the intersection, and I basically remember a blur in the noise. Basically just thankful I was still alive. After working with the firm, they have more than exceeded our expectations. Answered every question, no matter what and kept our minds at ease, and we knew everything was going to be okay.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Garza Law, Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. I've never had a serious motorcycle accident, but I know if I do, April Violet and Marcos Garza with Garza Law have got my back. Our Back on 2 segment is brought to you by Garza Law and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
We mostly help women and children. Our benefit today helps Rania, which is a friend of ours that has a rare leukemia. She went through treatment. She just finished her treatment, and then she went back for a checkup, and they found skin cancer on her head. So now they just removed that.
Hey, my name is Rania Geoti. These guys are doing a benefit for me and another family, which I was hoping to get to meet. And so just battling the leukemia and then the head cancer, and God is good. I am in remission as of my biopsy that I had 2 weeks ago. But you have to keep up everything, and things, they can come back, but I refuse to see that. May 5th, 21st. And so I was gone for a whole year to Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa. And they told me to prepare for a whole year. And they told me that, that I was going to require a transplant, and I did have to have a bone marrow transplant. Leukemia AML, split 3 is what I was diagnosed with. And if y'all have any symptoms of whatever, if you know your body and know something wrong, get checked. Because 2 weeks prior, all I had was bruising coming up, and I cleaned houses, so I didn't think nothing of it. And then 2 days before I was diagnosed, I went in because I knew something was wrong. I couldn't breathe. I was short of breath. I was dizzy. I couldn't see. So my son actually had to drive me to Tampa. And when I got there and everything, when they diagnosed me with that day here, the next morning I had to be in my car, and they gave me the option of going to MD Anderson or Moffitt Cancer Center. And so of course I picked Moffitt because my brother with it. And when I once got there, they hardly put me in the hospital that day, and they had to give me blood infusions or platelets, and the doctor even told me, he said if I'd have waited a couple more days, he says I wouldn't. So just people, please get checked. Any signs, symptoms of anything that you know your body and you know something's wrong, go get checked. Because if I would have waited 2 more days, I wouldn't be here today. Bikers are a family. We are a true family. We have our brothers and our sisters. We might not have blood, but we have more than that. We have honor and trust between us.
I'm Marcos Garza of the Garza Law Firm. And whenever you hang around motorcyclists for any period of time, you start to realize they're more about each other than they are about themselves. And so, one, they need representation, because a lot of times, my experience is that motorcyclists will get the short end of the stick if they're not properly represented. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen an accident report where it says the motorcyclist was, driving too fast, or driving at Mach 1, or exceeding the speed, and most of the time, that's not true at all. If you go out and you look under all the rocks, shake all the bushes, find all the witnesses, pull 911 tapes, do a full investigation, then you'll find out there's often a witness out there too, like, no, he or she was driving the speed limit. There's this sort of kind of assumption made, I think, often by police officers and citizens, not because they're bad people, but they just associate motorcyclists with speeding somehow. And so if you can get out in front of a case early and get involved in a case early enough, you can kind of squash that and get a better result. Out of, members of society, if you took any cross-section, I'll take a cross-section of motorcyclists any day on average over any other group of people, except maybe the Marines.
This is Biker Dad, brought to you by Garza Law, your motorcycle attorney, the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers, and Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky.
Hey everybody, April Violet here, Miss Heels on Wheels from Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're watching Biker Dad TV.
Tom Shimmerling. I'm an attorney from New York, Pennsylvania, the upstatebikerlawyer.com. We're in New Orleans and we're at a convention of the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers, of which I'm proud to be a founding member. And there's enamel members from all over the country here, and we're having a great time and exchanging ideas about how best to protect bikers.
Well, look, the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers is a collection of really spirited lawyers around the country who have dedicated a portion of their practice or all of their practice to representing people who are injured on motorcycles. Why is that important? Because unlike people in cars and other modes of transportation, there's frankly a bias that goes on in this country with people on bikes. It's not justified, and we have to work just a little bit harder than everybody else. And so for that, we spend our time on specialized education and figuring out how, frankly, to collect these cases, because the thing is, it's kind of a collective piece, right? When somebody gets hurt on a bike and goes to a lawyer who doesn't specialize in motorcycle injuries, you're actually dumbing down the value of those cases collectively. We're really blunt about it, and bikers deserve every penny just like everybody else. And so we want to get these bikers that are injured to the lawyers who know what they're doing to keep the values up for those bikers, because there's no reason for the insurance industry to think they can get away with underpaying bikers. I'm really excited this year specifically for NAML, because I think we're going to be changing some of our membership guidelines to allow for more members, and I'm super excited about it. I'm not in a position to announce those plans yet, but I think for those of you watching this who are interested in joining NAML that maybe feel like the market of exclusivity has kind of pushed you out, I think there's going to be some opportunities coming down the pike, so pay attention to that, and I'm very excited about that.
Here we are at the Harley dealership in New Orleans, and they got a lot of beautiful bikes here. I've been representing bikers for many years, and it was time for there to be a national organization which would have some sort of standards, for lawyers representing motorcyclists, and to be able to exchange ideas. And it's been a wonderful thing. All of us have learned a lot from each other.
Being in NAML is great because we can share ideas on how to help people. If there's a unique situation that has been encountered by somebody who's practicing in a different state, then he or she can tell me how they've handled it. We have a listserv, so it's basically like a bunch of law firm owners who are solos who can help each other as if we're one big firm together. So it's sort of a safety in numbers. I would say it's great to learn from people who've been in NAML a while and practice injury law for a while, because again, they've seen some of the issues that are unique to motorcycle riders and injuries or accidents. So it's been helpful. I've been an attorney for 20 years, but started riding a motorcycle for a while when I was a kid, and then on the street fairly recently. NAML has helped me learn from other lawyers who have actually practiced motorcycle injury law for a long time, who are older and wiser than I am maybe.
Well, having seen the results of so many tragic accidents, safety is something I've always been very concerned about. And in terms of representing bikers, we sponsor these accident scene management classes all over New York State and Pennsylvania, all over upstates. And I think we've done about 3 dozen classes right now, hundreds of bikers that we've educated on what to do before the EMT people get there. And it's been a wonderful thing. I've met some wonderful people. We just love putting on these classes.
Biker Dads brought to you by Garza Law and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
I'm Marcos Garza of the Garza Law Firm. The thing I like so much about serving the motorcycle community through the law is, I suppose, first of all, I've always rooted for the underdog. That's just kind of how I'm made. I do some criminal defense work. I do a lot of personal injury work. And typically you represent those folks who need help the most. You know, if you work for a big company or corporation, you probably met a lawyer down at some country club or something like that somewhere, but I get the pleasure of representing individuals. And the thing that's awesome about the motorcycle community especially is that you kind of have the same camaraderie, or the same feel of camaraderie that I experienced in the Marine Corps. And there are parts of me that still miss the Marine Corps. I was a Marine Corps judge advocate or JAG attorney for them for several years. And that kind of selfless service that you surround yourself with whenever you're around other people who signed up to be the tip of the spear or signed up to potentially be in harm's way, kind of creates a fantastic organization.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And if you spend any time with the motorcycle community, it kind of feels like a group of Marines, really. Well, and a lot of them are, or they're other service members, and you have a certain amount of kind of self-selection of selflessness.
Hi, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. Unfortunately, I've never had a serious motorcycle crash in my life, but I know if I do, Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm have my back. So thank you for looking out for bikers.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
This is Biker Dad.
Tony Sawyer is a true just giver of everything. He gives so much to the community, to first responders, police, any nonprofit, any bike group. And so it was our turn today to give back to him just a little thank you of a new flagpole and a new flag, because his poor little thing, Glory, it waved proudly, but it needed some help.
Hey, I'm Tony Sawyer, owner of Bob's Downtown Restaurant. The American Legion, Riders for Riders, a bunch of veterans, a bunch of people got together and put up the flagpole here at the restaurant and had a big ceremony and invited, the fire department down here. A lot of police officers showed up, a lot of veterans. It was just humbling, very humbling. And I'm honored to be their recipient this year.
Yeah, these cops during Mardi Gras, I believe that there was over 300 police officers that he fed during Mardi Gras, first responders, any cause, whether it be cancer, fallen riders, anything. The Post 88 got broken into, he helped with the bike run that we did. I mean, any cause, anything, he's there. He never says no.
I help these different local bike clubs around here, motorcycle clubs and riding clubs, and raise money and let them come in here and do a stop here. I cook breakfast, donate the rest of the money to them. And, they're coming down to pay homage to me and to the staff here at the restaurant. And it's just, it's cool. It's very cool, man.
Not only is Tony awesome, but their staff is amazing. They work beyond everything, elements, occasions, work for him, and they meld together. They've got a very good relationship, and they meld together. And this little place is delicious. There's nothing bad on the menu, nothing bad.
When the biker community, as you know, is one of the best organizations out there to raise money for all kinds of different things. And of course, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I love our veterans, and I appreciate what they do. And the first responders, firefighters, police, EMS workers.
From Biloxi, Mississippi, with Adam Sandoval. Until next time, please look twice for motorcycles.
High five.
Biker.